Merchants of Venice.
A very hearty good morning to all of you. Today I am going to deal with the characters of the play Merchant of Venice. When we read Shakespeare's play Merchant of Venice, we come across a lot of characters. Each character portrayed by Shakespeare are lifelike and none of the characters match with the other, which gives a specific peculiarity to the play Merchant of Venice. Dealing first with the character of Antonio. Antonio is a very rich merchant of Venice, and when he is presented in the play, in Act 1, Scene 1, we find Antonio to be in a melancholic state. He is sad, and he says, "In sooth, I know not why I am so sad." He says, in reality, he himself does not know the cause of his sadness, from where it is born, from where it has originated, and why he is feeling so dull. Further on, we see Antonio as a man who loves his friend Bassanio a lot, and he is ready to do anything for him. He acts as a loyal friend to Bassanio, who is ready to give his life in lieu of 3,000 ducats, which he asks Shylock, the villain of the play, to go to Belmont. He stands as a guarantor, and he says that if he is not able to pay the fixed amount on a fixed day at a fixed time, he will give a pound of his flesh in lieu of that. So we can make out that how much love Antonio has for Bassanio. Now we have Gratiano. He is another friend of Antonio and Bassanio. He is, in the nature of speaking, an infinite deal of nothing. Actually, when we say infinite deal of nothing, means a person who speaks a lot without any sense. This man has been placed in the play in order to give it a lighter atmosphere. As we will go on to again deal with this character, you will find him to be a interesting person as a whole. He will be accompanying Bassanio to Belmont, and there, as Bassanio will find Portia, he will find Nerissa, Portia's lady in waiting. In the sequence of the play, we will find many speeches of Gratiano, which will be interesting to be dealt with. For the meantime, only to know that Gratiano is one of the friends of Antonio and speaks a lot is enough. Shylock. Shylock is a Jewish moneylender and the antagonist of the play Merchant of Venice. He has been tortured, persecuted because as he was a Jew. And already I have told you that it was when Venice was a Christian society, and he has been mistreated, and because of this mistreatment which he received throughout his life, he was always waiting for an opportunity to feed fat his ancient grudge which he had against the Christians. So he was always leading a life of revenge, and he was waiting for such an opportunity. And to tell you, he got the opportunity when Bassanio came to him to get that 3,000 ducats. So as a moneylender, he was angered by his mistreatment at the hands of these Christians, particularly Antonio. Shylock gets an opportunity to take back or eke out his revenge by demanding in lieu of that 3,000 ducats, in a manner of friendship or in a manner of laughter, he just said that sign a bond, that if at all you are not able to pay the 3,000 ducats, you will have to offer me a pound of your flesh. We have seen in lots of speeches delivered by Shylock in the play, you will find it very interesting to see that how crafty, how manipulative, how revengeful he is as the play moves. Although seen by the rest of the play's character as a inhuman monster, the whole characters consider him as a dog, as a culprit, and they go on calling him a cur. Cur actually means a dog. Throughout the play you will see, but as you will deeply analyze the character of Shylock from his perspective, you will find that it was only because of the inhuman treatment which he received he has turned out to be such. He had particularly a greed for money that we will see in his nature when his own daughter Jessica leaves his house, calls him to be not a good father, and she elopes away with a Christian Lorenzo. Shylock at the time, we will find him to be very greedy for his money. Although crying for his daughter, he should be actually upset about his daughter's elopement, but he doesn't do so. He is upset about his money, the ducats, the jewels and the possession with which she has fled. He even goes to the extent of saying that she should die in front of him with the money and ducats in her coffin. So we can make out about the character of Shylock. As the play will proceed and things will develop, we will also see that how his greed for money has come up when Antonio loses all his merchandise. He is ready to take his revenge. He wants that a pound of human flesh. He wants to take Antonio out of Venice by any means. And when he was asked that what is a human flesh going to give you, he says that it will feed nothing but it will feed my revenge. I will bait fish withal, and if it will not feed anything, it will feed my revenge. So you can understand that how things change. And he also talks about his troubles being a Jew in a Christian society. So if you will go to see Shylock as an antagonist of the play, I'll say that you will love Shakespeare for creating such a antagonist or villain-like character in such a wonderful way, such scheming, such revengeful person. He remains to be one of the most memorable character of the play Merchant of Venice. Now we have Shylock's daughter Jessica. Jessica hates life in her father's house and elopes with the young Christian gentleman Lorenzo. The fate of her soul is often in doubt. The play's characters wonder if her marriage can overcome the fact that she was born a Jew, and we wonder if her sale of a ring given by her father, by her mother, is really going to help her in her love life. Lorenzo, with whom Jessica fled, is a friend of Bassanio and Antonio, and he is in love with Jessica. He helps Jessica to escape from her father's house, and he eventually elopes with her to Belmont. The other character is Nerissa. Nerissa is Portia's lady-in-waiting and confederate. She has always assisted Portia in all matters. Even when Portia was upset regarding the lottery of caskets, she says that her father was a virtuous man, and virtuous people only take such decision. Later in the play, she marries Gratiano and escorts Portia on Portia's trip to Venice by disguising herself and assisting her in the play as a lawyer's clerk in Act 4. We have other characters also. For the time being, I suppose this will help you to have a deep analysis of the play. So I'll be stopping the introduction of characters here itself. You go through these characters, and in the next part of the audio, I will be sending you a short plot of the play, and then after we will begin with the text. Thank you.